Welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Yes, there is hope and a new Nigeria is possible. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Today, we're having a discussion, a really disturbing discussion on the things that are coming out of the presidential villa, where Tinubu have decided that Nigeria must be enslaved. What is just coming out here today is that Tinubu has submitted a fresh external borrowing proposal to the National Assembly, requested for approval of 1.76 trillion under the 2024 Appropriation Act. It is really very disheartening, and Nigerians are reacting. Well, we'll bring you all the reaction of Nigerians here, and those many who are docile and all that, but the people who are speaking up, we are going to bring that across. And I'm not the only one to have this discussion here. I have Angel in the studio and, of course, active Nigerians who are joining us virtually.
Good day, my active citizens and obedient worldwide. Welcome, tell your neighbor, say hope day, but not in our politicians or in our leaders. The second name of Chief Bola Tinubu, Boroboro Baba. Welcome on board, let's discuss.
Yes, let's get on with the discussion. As we go on to this, please like, share, and of course, if you are new here, subscribe. The discussion, Angel, will try to make this as brief as possible. What is just coming is turning to Nigerians, but we thought that Chief Bola Tinubu is done with borrowing, at least for the fiscal year that is ending. But I think Nigerians are taken aback with this latest proposal that hit the National Assembly coming out today. Is really, and the reactions that are coming out of this, we are just talking about Daniel Bola that he employed, and about 14 different people who are speaking for him that we spoke about yesterday. And then again, we're seeing another growing debt profile. He loves, borrowing so much.
My question is, what is he using this new loan to do?
I mean, to inflict pains on Nigerians.
More hardship.
More hardship, that is what we see.
And he promised Nigeria that subsidy removal will reduce borrowing and spending. That
they will have enough money.
Yes.
So, but it's not far away. It's not far away from the ways and means of Chief Buhari when they were printing money and they were just disbursing to themselves. That is what keeps happening. But let's take the reaction of people on X before we get to the people who have joined us to have this discussion virtually. We have this very particular one from Madi Shehu, who said very clearly that Chief Bola Tinubu continued to borrow and borrow. And of course, he said, well done. Let me look at that very tweet again, because as you can see from the screen, it's very, very obvious that he said, continue to borrow, Tinubu. Well done. Kudos to the National Assembly for the speedy approval with no breakdown. Pity to docile Nigerians. Glad tidings to grave diggers. That is coming from Madi Shehu. And of course, we have another person here who said fresh borrowing should be halted for now until we know what the trillions previously borrowed has achieved us thus far. These lenders, especially the World Bank, are enablers. This has to stop. Subsidy removal will reduce government borrowing and spending in the mud. That is coming from this very particular person. And of course, we have other reactions that will come to you, President. But let me come back. Angel, like you mentioned, before we get to our people there, he said all the money that have been saved. If Nigerians are buying fuel now for 3 times the amount that Chief Bola Tinubu made it, and he said now he's saving Nigeria trillions.
Exactly.
So, like
from
you mentioned,
subsidy removal.
Yeah. So why are we continuously borrowing? I read a report of Chief Obasanjo who stated clearly that Tinubu is leading Nigeria into the wrong path. I mean, he laid out how he came in, how much Nigeria had as a debt profile, and he was able to reduce that drastically. And even the Tinubu administration were fighting him. But just imagine what is happening. Yeah, we know how much a bag of rice is right now in the market. People can't even afford. Crime is escalating everywhere in Nigeria. And we are continuously talking about borrowing. I understand borrowing is not bad, but if it's used for production, which we don't see farmers farming these days because kidnappers have stopped them from farming.
I agree with Obasanjo, because too much borrowing is bad. Because you see this APC, when they are done with Nigerians, nothing will be left.
When you're talking about APC,
he said removing of subsidy will stop the borrowing and the spending. So where is the money he has saved from that subsidy removal?
I think really the problem is Nigerians.
Even the people, the World Bank giving him the money, I also question their motives behind it.
Like Mahdi Shehu said, Nigerians are docile. They are not reacting. And why I agree with him is that you just mentioned APC. It is the same people in Edo State that collected 10,000 and 20,000 naira and brought in another APC. The same thing happened in Edo State. Nigerians are quiet. Trading is what is happening in Nigeria because of capture. But anyway, let's get the opinion of Mr. Tony, who has joined us virtually. Mr. Tony, if you can hear me, please. Let's get your own input. We have several people in Nigeria in here who are reacting on X and other social media platforms about this latest request. Of course, we know that National Assembly is going to approve this without hesitation because they are going to profit from this 1.76 trillion. What is your take on this?
Thank you for having me, Mr. Kanu. And our listeners, you're welcome. I agree with you and every other Nigerian that is pissed, that is angry. Why shouldn't we be angry? This is a government that has relied on borrowing. First of all, they said subsidy removal will generate enough cash to help state governments, to help Nigerians grow their economy. Why do they continue to borrow is the big question. Why do they continue? It wasn't long ago. They borrowed over 3 trillion naira. We're just talking about that, and all of a sudden, they hit us with another 1.7 trillion naira borrowing. What is going on, for goodness sake? You know, IMF just told Tinubu's administration that they should rethink their strategy because their policies aren't working. Pump and plain. Rethink your strategies because what you're doing is not working. You're borrowing, just like we said. The National Assembly is going to speedily approve this budget because they have their own stake in it, personal stake, I mean. So, you see that everything here is money, buying and selling. Nigeria has turned into a labor market. People with money, they buy votes. The other woman was saying, my vote for a pot of soup. So she's selling her vote for a pot of soup. And after that, does she think she has any reason whatsoever to complain? They don't think. It's real inexplicable that Nigerians will sell their vote and then continue suffering. And these people know that because they've weaponized poverty. They know that they can buy anybody and everybody, except very few of you guys here. So we don't have a government, we don't have a country, really. And they're hiring Onanuga and Bola to come and propagate their lies. This is terrible.
Yeah, Tony, but I just want to bring something in. You know, most often we say that the citizens are docile, but you know that there are people who needs to react when this kind of thing is acting, and they inspire the citizens to actually come out and protest about all of these things happening. Like the church overseers, for example, that is the GOs, general overseers of different churches, the clergymen, so let me put it that way, the clergymen both from the church and the mosque, I mean, they have not been able to use the power they have over their congregation to advocate for a Nigeria that can be active.
Most of them go knee and cap, begging all these politicians for money. Whatever project they have in the church, they rely on the politicians to support them, to finance whatever project they're doing. So they can't come out openly and criticize. There are some priests that are doing that very well. But the major churches, the Anglican churches, the Catholic churches, their bishops, and their notable priests aren't doing enough. They know that. Whether or not they're trying to have a separation of church and state, but their congregations, they're suffering. So it doesn't make any sense not to speak out. Because if they do, I'm telling you, things will change. Most of our politicians are not doing the same. They're just quiet, just looking for ways to contest another election, either the presidency or National Assembly. So they're not speaking out. They're not speaking out. What do you expect from ordinary Nigerians? Most of who are hungry. They're just wishing that things will get better, and they have no help from their representatives. And you know very well that if they step out, people are scared of dying. That's one thing with Nigerians. They are scared of dying. In any other country, you see something totally different. People will come out and then show their anger. But here in Nigeria, I don't want to die. Why should I go there to die? And the person will come home and sit down and probably drink Gary for dinner. So you wallow in poverty, in hardship. For how long? How long are you going to take that nonsense? We're doomed as a country, really. The World Bank, they've been pouring money in Nigeria for water projects. They're reporting that about $30 million are missing. $30 million are missing. What happened to it? Maybe snake swallowed it. Just look at where we are today. People trying to help you, and you focused on trying to corner part of the money meant for your constituency. I mean, this is no country anybody can be proud of. No,
Okay.
not now.
Okay, Tony. Let's get the perspective of Mr. Ako. Mr. Ako, I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, what's your take on this current borrowing of 1.76 trillion under the 2024 appropriation?
Mr. Kanu, good evening, and listeners. I greet you all. First and foremost, I'm not expecting anything good from this administration because a thief does not enter the home to do anything good. In the first instance, we heard about borrowing during Buhari's administration. And Tinubu has promised he was only coming to continue from where Buhari stops. And of course, everything he has been doing since he arrived in the office is continuation of where Buhari stops. Buhari has been borrowing throughout his administration. There was no innovation on how to cut down costs, save for the rainy day and all that. We're not done. So Tinubu has come to continue in that direction, and he's doing that perfectly well. What I was expecting that Nigerians would do as a remedial way to scuttle it out is to come out en masse and say enough is enough. But of course, you and I are aware that Nigerians are docile. Nobody wants to die, but we all want to enjoy good government. Nobody wants to make sacrifices that will lead about rescuing Nigeria. And we, on the other end, down in your position, we've been raising alarm, but the people are not making use of the information. It's very unfortunate, but we all have to face it this way. Even if Tinubu goes back to National Assembly again and requests for another 10 trillion naira, Akpabio that you know we approve it. So what are we talking about? Gone are the days when budget, we're being scrutinized at the National Assembly. What we have now is just nay, high, and they approve it. Nothing more. We are already conquered as people. There is nothing to hold forth as the mainstream media has already been captured. We are here discussing, but you know the mainstream media, like the NTA, they'll be showing history of one cultural event in Sokoto, one history of cultural event in Katsina and all that, just to deceive the people that all is well. But all is not well with the economy. The country is sinking. So I have no solution to this whole contraception. Nigeria is already a captured state as it is. How can a country rely on IMF policy to develop her own financial policies? It's not done. Nigeria as a country under Tinubu have no policy they are working on. There is no policy that, okay, in 1 year time, 2 years time, 6 months time, this is where the Naira should be. This is where the production level should be. This is where the GDP should be. Nothing like that. So they are just borrowing and all that. How can you withdraw subsidy in attempt to increase revenue? And here we are, you keep on borrowing. Who does that? The one they are borrowed previously, where is the record? Where is the achievement? The trillions and trillions of naira they were borrowing from China, from World Bank, from IMF, there is no evidence on ground to justify that Nigeria have even used her own God-given resources. How much more they borrowed funds? So I rest my case until the day Nigerians are truly ready, they will come out.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Mr. Ako?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be sounding defeated because even when you are conquered, you can re-strategize. Know that even if Nigerians have been put in such a state where they can't reach Chief Bola Tinubu as far as letting him know their demands, we could reach the people who are our own through our own constituencies. You recall that we have a project right now, the series we are doing on constituency projects. We could get these National Assembly members at that very level. And of course, the National Assembly members, when they know they are going to be recalled due to prevailing circumstances, we could use them to reach, get Chief Bola Tinubu to do what Nigerians want. We could do it that way. Is that not possible?
And it's very cumbersome situation. Mr. Kanu will be working on the 2023-2024 budget implementation to find out those things that were budgeted in the capital projects and how far it has been implemented and all that. You all know how this has been time consuming. And the bottleneck surrounding it, having access to these legislators is another angle which we are still going to proceed. So it is not as if maybe I'm sounding defeated. I'm only pointing at the reality that Nigerians are docile. No reasonable people should sit down and tolerate this type of failure. This is beyond failure. This is deliberate attempt to bring down Nigeria. It's not just failure. Failure is when you try to succeed, but you fail. But in this case, there is no any evidence of trying to succeed under Tinubu. There is nothing they are doing to show that they are trying to succeed. When you see the national budget, what they call budget, that the whole country sit down and wait for annually, you shed tears for Nigeria. There are many budgets without a trace of which society, which community such budget is meant for. Budgets were overinflated, budgets without address, budgets being given to wrong agency in another state, stuff like that, making it difficult to track. So those are all the indices of a captured state. But with the right energy from the opposition angle, we can set this aright. We can set the tone of how a country should be governed. So it's not as if maybe we are sounding defeated. We are only pointing at those indices of a failed state that we need to address head on.
All right. Okay, for viewers, please, you can go to the comment
section and tell us your take on this new fresh external borrowing that Chief Bola Tinubu is requesting from the National Assembly. Go to comment section, tell us what you feel. Now, let me finally get to Mr. Tony on the way forward. Mr. Tony, you've heard the position of Mr. Ako, and of course, he said he's not talking of being defeated, but there are strategies that could be used, and I reasoned with him on the series of the projects we are working on the constituencies to bring out the transparency in the mess that they call constituency budget, thereby bringing in the National Assembly members, both the senators and House of Rep, and move for a recall when these projects are not executed, thereby using these same National Assembly people to reach out to Chief Bola Tinubu to do the needful. What is your take on that?
You know, I really think that Nigeria is in a total mess, and some people, in fact, a lot of people, have given up hope. The only people that are still hoping are just maybe Obidient. Every other person, mostly, have raised their hands up and say, there's nothing we can do except talk. And you see a lot of Nigerians coming up on TV, Arise, channels, TV, talking, lamenting, but nothing gets done. It falls on deaf ears. If we can use this opportunity, this project, and have just a couple of people in each local government, in each senatorial district, to put a little pressure on the National Assembly members, and then let them know that this is a way forward which Nigerians may use to come after you during the elections. One of the senators here in Enugu had an empowerment program last Sunday, and you find a lot of people saying that it was a disaster, that mostly people that got items were PDP members. Some of them were thinking that it will come to Labour Party members, not knowing that this is a district-wide project. It doesn't discriminate whether you belong to Party A or Party B. But that's separate. But if we can use those people, give them the information, and let them use the information to put pressure on their representatives. Say, look, where are these projects located? Help us find what is going on. The money you are using for empowerment, where is it coming from? Is that all the money budgeted for the empowerment? Or is there some that is not being accounted for? Then they can begin to listen. Who is giving them this idea? Maybe I should wake up and do something that I've not been doing before. So what I'm going to do is there is this House of Rep member that is planning a town hall meeting for Nsukka and Igboeze South constituency, his constituency. I'm going to send a copy to them, and they tell them, look, ask questions. This is very educative. Use it appropriately. Find out what is going on. And if you're not satisfied, come back to us and let us discuss with your representative.
If I get you well, one of the senators from
State has called for a town hall meeting on their senatorial district, right?
House of Rep member.
Okay, the House of Rep member.
For Nsukka and the Igboeze South local governments.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. We have to, earlier today we did Enugu State, Enugu West Senatorial District on constituency project, but the one that you require, I don't know if you have the data, so that we can forward it to some of the Obidient Family Cooperative Society people around there, so that they could bring up the issue of the questions arising from the constituency projects within their locality. Can you make sure that that is done?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to their WhatsApp group members, and then maybe call up some and say, well, this is information you can use to ask questions. We are not saying we accuse anybody of anything, any wrongdoing, but just ask questions and find out what's going on. Because if we start asking intelligent questions, these people might, who knows, wake up and say, well, let's do something right.
Well, we need them to wake up, or then we'll tell them what our demands are. We know that those projects that they have started are not existing. The other senator you have spoken about
has been suspended from the Labour Party due to what you described transpired on that very day. Notwithstanding, we want all the constituents of various these things in Enugu State and all the other states to hold their House member, that is the person who is honorable member representing them, and the senator responsible, and where they are not able to showcase all the projects that we are showcasing, then we may ask them to recall. So by the time they see a massive recall coming to all the House of Assembly and the senators, I think they will take action on Tinubu on what is happening. Not just approving everything that comes, but at least scrutiny and all of other things can go in. So thank you very much, Mr. Ako, and of course, Tony. Thank you so much. Earlier in the day, we practically presented the project of the constituency project in Enugu West. And of course, I want you to go back and check what we have done to see what the projects are and where they are located and the amounts that are there, so that we can use that in following up in the other Enugu state in general. Thank you so much. And for you viewers, please, wherever you are, do also look at the previous video that we had before this one, where we presented these things. I will keep presenting them across the nooks and cranny of Nigeria. Angel, I think it's about time. I can see signal coming to our people. They always insist we shouldn't go over 30 minutes, but obviously we can't help it sometimes.
Yes, so no achievement, no investment, no infrastructure, no priority, no attempt to succeed by this APC government. It's so appalling, so heartbreaking. They are putting Nigerians into more hardship and poverty. When will this end? Baba Boro Boro, when will this end? Thank you so much, Mr. Ako, Mr. Tony. We appreciate you for always coming to stay with us. God bless you. God reward you. My obedient worldwide, my intelligent and lovely active citizens, like, share, subscribe. Let other obedient know what is going on. That our Chief Bola Tinubu is now Boro Boro Baba. Thank you so much. We love you, but God loves you more. Bye for now.
Thank you.